Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy. I'm the dyer behind Stress Knits Yarns, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about basically anything I'm interested in, from knitting, hand dyeing, rock climbing, gardening, houseplant keeping. And I'm coming to you from Detroit, Michigan, where I live with my husband Doug, our daughter Eliza, and our pug Esther. And today is February 27th, 2022. So before we get started, it is important to me that we talk about what is happening in Ukraine right now and the senseless act of violence and war from Russia. So I don't even really know what to say because I'm not well versed in foreign conflict because this is the biggest, well, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. I really don't know what to say except for my heart is with the people of Ukraine, both who are still in the country and those who have left or who are from there and live somewhere else now. My heart is with you and anyone who is impacted by this senseless war. So, I am not going to pretend to be an expert because I think there are enough armchair experts on the internet. And all I can say is that my heart is with you and I support you. And there are some ways that we can indirectly help. And that is all I really know right now. So there are two ways that I am currently aware of that might appeal to the viewers of my channel. One is Baker Creek Farms. It's a large seed company. I believe it's rareseeds.com. I'm not entirely sure. I will link it below. I get a lot of my garden seeds from there, both flower and veggie fruit. They are donating their sales this weekend. I'm putting this video up on Sunday, the 27th, so it's the last day of the sale. I have gone ahead and bought a bunch of veggies and fruit seeds just to have once I have a larger garden. So they're donating all of their sales this weekend to Ukraine causes, and then also someone in our own community, Olga of Handmade Closet, correct? Yes, Handmade Closet. She is an amazing, beautiful designer, and she is donating all of the sales from her patterns to causes in Ukraine as well for the foreseeable future. So those are two places that have done the research and know where they're sending the money. And for me, I'm not entirely sure where the best places are. So I'm trusting Baker Creek Farms and Olga of Handmade Closet, who is from Ukraine, who was born near Chernobyl. I trust her a lot to know where to send the money. So that is, those are two options of really passive ways to help. And I think it's important to do that. So it's really weird to segue from that, which, by the way, I'll have the links to both of those shops below so that you can just click those and go and purchase. So those will be linked in the description below. They'll be the first thing under the video. Then, it's really weird to segue into knitting. And it feels a little trivial recording, but this is what I do. And this is how I deal with things. I knit and I talk about knitting. And so maybe it's how you deal with things as well. So here I am, and we are going to talk about knitting. I'm going to close my laptop because I don't need my notes because it didn't help me anyway. And we're just going to talk about knitting for a little bit. So what am I drinking? I am drinking a pistachio latte with oat milk. That's what I'm drinking. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of give you what we're talking about so that if you're interested in something, you can skip ahead, skip forward. I'm a little flustered today. I'm gonna take a deep breath, take another sip of coffee. Okay, so we're going to talk about finished objects, works in progress, plans for a Knitalong, because we hit 11,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is what? We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna talk about the garden club from Stress Knits. I think that's about it. So let's talk about finished objects. The only finished object is what I'm wearing. This is my Anson cardigan. This is my Anson cardigan by Fine Fiber Co. I knit it out of Stress Knits yarn, which is my hand-dyed yarn, in an unnamed, unplanned pink. It is knit using my favorite base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And then my halo base, which is my my kid mohair silk base. I love it. There are 3 buttons, but it's really hot in this room. And as you can tell, my hair is probably gonna grow over this entire thing. My husband and I share an office, and he is cold all of the time. And we joke around that if we had a sitcom TV show, it would be she's always hot, he's always cold. It's a Stacy and Doug show. So that's what we joke about all the time, because I'm always hot. I'm like sweating already, but I'm also in a mohair sweater. But he always has a space heater on, and he just went downstairs to be with Eliza this morning and turned it off, and it's still just hot in here. Like, I want to open a window, but our street can be pretty noisy, so I'm choosing not to for you. I'm kidding. Okay, so the Anson cardigan, I think it's just called Anson by Fine Fiber Co. I was a failed test knitter of this, but I loved the pattern so much that I finished it, and I love it. I love specifically the tie. I think it is just the cutest. I'm currently wearing it with leggings right now, but I've worn this to work with a dress. I wore it on Valentine's Day because I finished it that weekend before, and it's just a very sweet, cozy sweater. I can imagine knitting another one of these. I will say my biggest issue with the pattern is that it does not have many sizes. It has very few sizes. And I knit the second largest size. It's like a 48. And I did make some modifications to this. I decided to not do all of the raglan increasing because I thought it was getting pretty large for my size. So I have about a 42-inch bust, and so I'm knitting a 48 because I like positive ease. And my whole thing with this cardigan is I wanted it to be oversized and like wearing it off the shoulder and like being super cute, and it's exactly how I wanted it. But it got to the point where the raglan, because like here's my armpit, like that's my armpit, this is all extra fabric, and so yeah, and I even wanted tighter sleeves, but it wasn't going to make sense rapidly decreasing up here. It would have created like a weird balloon here, which I didn't want, so instead I went for more of a balloony sleeve. I still love the pattern, but I do have issues with patterns that look drastically different on smaller bodies than they do on larger bodies, and I think that's just something to be aware of. So I did really enjoy this pattern, but would I have knit it if I was not a test knitter? Probably not. But it is still incredibly beautiful. I think I got exactly what I wanted out of the sweater, and sometimes that's what counts. So, yeah, I did a little bit of a short, well, not really shorter sleeve, but they usually end up like this. I think that's really it. Again, this is not a colorway that I dye. I cannot replicate it super well. I got pretty close actually in some yarn I will show you shortly. If you can hear that, that's my daughter Eliza playing down my husband Doug. She's super cute. I think that's everything about the sweater. I do really enjoy it. I just wish it was more accessible. That's about it. So thank you to everyone who wished me a happy birthday, because I had a huge goal. I'm reaching for it. Don't mind my sad plant. I need to water it after this. But as many of you know, I am obsessed with the Half and Half triangles wrap up by Purl Soho. I also am head over heels in love with their linen quill yarn. I have so much of it, and I'm actually knitting my next project that I'm going to show you is also in linen quill. I'm sorry I'm playing with my hair so much. My bangs are just not, my hair is super cute today except for my bangs, and I don't have bobby pins to pin them back. So forgive me, I'm going to fluff for a second. Yes, so I don't know if I talked about this before, but one of my biggest like aesthetic goals visually is to have Laura Dern hair, specifically from when she guest starred on The West Wing as the U.S. Poet Laureate, and I'm getting there, and it's making me very happy. I love Laura Dern. Anyway, but thank you to everyone who wished me a happy birthday. It was February 20th, and I know there are a few of you who also have February 20th birthdays, and I know a lot of you have February birthdays, so happy birthday to everyone. February is such a weird month, but I love that my birthday is in February, and also two of my best friends, we were all born within 13 days of each other in February, so it makes this really weird, short, kind of gross month really fun, and I feel really lucky about that. So yeah, one of my big goals was to be halfway through my Half and Half triangles wrapped by Purl Soho, because again, I am obsessed with this pattern. I think everyone should knit one, and I know there are moments in this where it just feels like a slog and you're like, I'm never knitting another one, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I do really like this. And so I have transitioned to the second color. I haven't done much since my post on my birthday. I've been focusing on other patterns, but here we are. So again, Half and Half triangles wrapped by Purl Soho. This is the first half complete, and this was in Honey Pink, one of my favorite colors of theirs, and my second color is Rosewood Pink, which is here. And this beautiful Monstera stitch marker is a no-waste stitch marker from Hello Lavender, who is my absolute favorite stitch marker maker. Yes, but this is it so far. I am using a US 5. I'm a very tight knitter. I think this pattern calls for US 3, so I went up 2 needle sizes. I've also done at least one on a US 4. So somewhere in there, 4 or 5 is what I use. And then I do the wrap and turn. I've done one with German short rows, and I just prefer the look of the wrap and turn, and it also feels more flowy to me when I'm knitting. I know people are very they have very strong opinions about the German short row, and I love the German short row specifically for sweaters, but the old-fashioned wrap and turn is the way I'm going for this. Yeah, I love it. And one thing to remember is when you are changing to your second color, you need to be making a square. It needs to be at a right angle. Otherwise, you're not doing the correct side. but I always have a stitch marker designating the right and wrong side so that I know. Yes, I just love it. So here is Rosewood Pink, Purl Soho Linen Quill. This is going to be a labor of love. I'm not sure when I want to finish this because I have several others that I want to make. I have a feeling that I will cast on at least one more before the end of the year. But I love this project. It is a comfort. It is a good friend. It is always there for me, and I will always have one on the needles, at least for the foreseeable future. So that is that. But I put that down because my other linen quill and a new cast on, not this one isn't a new cast on, but there are two projects that really have my heart right now and I really want to focus on. Sorry, it's really dry in here. My throat is not used to talking this much. Okay, so last episode I talked about Emily of 108 Stitches. I am gonna second guess myself on that every time. But she made a Briochealicious by Andrea Mowry using linen quill, and I said I need it. Every time she wears it, she just posted finished object pictures of it. She was wearing it the Rose City Yarn Crawl. I love this color combination for this pattern so much. I'm very excited that I am copying her. So here it is. So there are, oh my gosh, it is so good. I'm probably going to wear it with this. This is technically the right side. And I really love just the peak of the yellow breaking through, but also this is just so stunning. I love it. I love it all. So this is my hair is very distracting. I'm gonna keep going. This is the Briochealicious. Briochealicious. So Andrea Mowry came out with two patterns that sound almost identical and both have brioche. One is Briochealicious and one is Briochealicious. I think this is Briochealicious. I think. So this is a very early Andrea Mowry pattern that I have loved for a long time. This is like pre-Find Your Fade. And it's beautiful. It is just garter panels broken up by brioche panels, and then garter, and then brioche, garter, brioche, garter. So you have three contrasting colors, and so the contrast colors I'm using are, so I'm using linen quill from Purl Soho, and I just finished my turmeric yellow. And then I have chestnut red and vintage Celadon. So these are my contrast colors. And then my main color is honey pink, my tried and true. And I love it. The stitch marker is also from Hello Lavender. It was an accent marker. I am knitting this on size, fives. 4 or 5s, and I love it. I really do. The brioche is making me so happy. This is such a good beginner brioche pattern because you have the breaks of garter. So the next color is the red. And then we'll do another here, and then we'll finish vintage Celadon. I'm very excited. If you hear that noise, it is my daughter spinning in her egg chair. So it's not thunder, it's my daughter. But anyway, Briochealicious, I think, by Andrea Mowry. All of the patterns are going to be linked in the description below. So that is one of the main things that I'm working on. The other is an introduction to our Knitalong. So I have a tendency to try to host knit-alongs and it to go horribly wrong, and I just don't follow through. I have horrible follow through on knit-alongs. But this time I'm feeling very motivated because I really, there's something about 11,000 subscribers that just feels so monumental, even more so than the 10,000. It's just such a large number. Such a large number that I think, commemorating it with a knit-along is just the perfect way to celebrate. So there is one group of projects that I have been craving to make, and that is tank tops, and also bralettes. So we are going to do a bralette and tank knit-along. I'm still on the fence of what I'm going to call it. It's going to be punny. There's going to be a hashtag on Instagram. I think the one that keeps coming to my mind is "Thank you very much." But I'm not sure, and I need to check the hashtags. I will post about it later on today when I figure out the hashtag. But I'm very excited about it. So the rules are, it starts March 1st and goes through the summer solstice, which is June 21st this year. And it is going to be any tank top or bralette pattern. I've gotten some funny questions that are, can I knit a sweater? No. Can I knit a t-shirt? No. It is a tank top and bralette knit-along. I know it's not for everybody, and I've also had some not so nice comments about me hosting this, which is very rude. So don't do that. Yeah. So it's just going to be a fun, pretty loose knit-along. I'm going to have a Ravelry thread in there as well. I'm going to have a finished object and a chatter thread in Ravelry. I will link it below, but I know that Ravelry is not the most accessible. So we're also going to have it over on Instagram, and Instagram is going to be kind of the main place, but I think it's nice to have somewhere on Ravelry too. So those are going to be the two places we have them, and I will, in the Ravelry group and also below here, list the patterns that I'm going to be knitting. So I have 3 in mind so far, and I'm already working on one. So because there will be prizes and stuff, I just haven't figured all of that out yet. This has kind of been on a whim. I'm just really excited. So I cast mine on because I can't win prizes. But because they are such small items, tank tops, they don't have sleeves, bralettes are pretty cropped, and no sleeves. I would prefer no whips. I mean, if you've cast on like the ribbing, who cares? But if you're just like finishing a strap, maybe not. So if you have like 10% of the project or less done, yes, and I trust you. If you're lying, you will know you're lying, and that is good enough for me. So very loose, very relaxed. There's some birds on our roof. And yeah, so the 3 patterns that I'm going to be making are the Ripple Bralette by Jesse Maed. I'm going to be using my Supermarket Flowers colorway, and it is just a very delicately speckled, this is like my favorite spot, pink. And then an outline tank. I've made an outline tank before, but I made it was about a size and a half too big. And I made it out of Cotland DK from Knit Picks, and it was too much. So yes, so I'm going to be knitting this out of my sport weight. I have been having a really hard time getting gauge for these patterns, that because I'm such a tight knitter that I went up to sport weight, because I would have had to go up from like a 4 to a 7 or 8 on fingering weight, and that would have been too meshy and not what I wanted. These are actually mini skeins because the dye lot of eucalyptus I dyed for this is too dark. So I'm going to be re-dyeing that for myself, but this is eucalyptus. This will be my outline tank. And then the third is what I'm working on now, and that is my Lazy Daisy crop by Kurihara. I don't know if that's correct. I will have it all linked below. This is where I'm at. I have some basket on here because my baskets are falling apart, people. Okay, so this is the Lazy Daisy crop. I'm currently on the body. I have about 4 more inches to go. So this is a cropped tank top. I am knitting the 48 size because I like some positive ease on my garments. And I wanted this to be pretty flowy. And also I just need to take a second to talk about the stitch marker. So Hella Lavender, both of these are Hella Lavender. The rainbow stitch marker, it means a lot to me. And she came out with these, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I got one. And Eliza grabbed it and like crumpled it up. Because they're pretty like hardy, but if you have a toddler who's like pulling it apart, it's gonna break. So she got a hold of it and she broke it, and my heart was broken because rainbows mean a lot to me. Eliza's my rainbow baby, and I like this color palette for rainbows, like the boho rainbow. I love it. And Hello Lavender did a like best of collection. I ordered 3 sets of these because I love them so much, and to have it back on a project just means so much to me. So very excited about this. This is just a basic tank top, and then you go in and you embroider daisies on it. And I'm very excited about it. Daisies are one of my favorite flowers. I'm really excited. So it's pretty bunched up on this 32-inch cord, but I'm very, very excited about it. I am alternating skeins. This is Copper Boom. This is stressed knits yarn. It's on a sport weight base that I don't carry anymore, and I know someone is going to ask me to carry it. And here's the issue with sport weight is that people like the idea of sport weight, but they don't know what to do with it. And so I've had sport weight sit in the shop for over a year before, so I've just kind of vowed to not dye sport weight anymore. So I'm sorry about that, but it just doesn't make sense. I don't have the space to store it, and it's just a lot of money sitting around not getting used, and I don't have excess money to do that with. So no sport weight for me, but there are other dyers, I'm sure, who do sport weight. But again, I'm doing sport weight because I cannot get gauge on fingering without going up too many needle sizes. And this is the perfect fabric. It's not super loose, but it's not super tight. It's just right. I'm very, very excited about this. Copper Boom is one of my favorite colorways, and I'm going to be embroidering, I think, white daisies. I think I'm just going to use undyed yarn with a little yellow center because I love a classic daisy. So that is my first tank cast on, and I'm very excited about it. I've knit this. This has probably been maybe a week or 2 of knitting on and off, maybe a week. I think I cast this on around my birthday, so about a week of knitting. Oh, I just love it so much. So those are all of my works in progress and my finished object and my plans. Next is going into Stress Knits yarn news. If you are not interested, totally get it, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in Stress Knits, we're basically going to talk about one thing, and that is my garden club. So the first round of garden club has gone out. Everybody who pre-ordered one, it should have arrived, or if you, I know I had a few people internationally who ordered it. So if you don't want any spoilers, shut this off. The next round goes up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, now I'm going to show things. So if you don't want to see it, turn this off. Come back if you want to when you have it. But I'm going to talk through the garden club and what you get, and it's fun to actually be able to show you. So the first thing is I I really thought about packaging for this because I wanted it to be special. And so this is what you get. It says the Garden Club, and it's tied with some garden twine. And then when you open this up, and yes, the tissue paper will coordinate with your minis because I'm a dork. And I can't help it. So what you get inside, first you will see the 2 extras. So my husband Doug is an amazing illustrator, and he created this. It is a garden spray rose situation, and it's just like a nice print. And then my favorite part is the vinyl sticker. It's so perfect. And it he actually put one of these on his water bottle. He loves it so much. So it's the perfect sticker for your water bottle, for your laptop. I have mine here. I don't put stickers on my laptop, but if you do, this would be super cute. I'll definitely be putting this on one of my water bottles, but it's just it's perfection. And it also says stress nuts right here. I have a lot of feelings about it. So the yarn, right? That's probably what you care the most about. I'm trying to remember what the order was of what I put them in the bags, but I don't remember. So this is my Roses Garden Club, and I went with the very romantic, kind of classic, but a little modern rose colors. And so I love it. These remind me of very specific roses. So this kind of reminds me of Coco Loco. This reminds me of my Emily Bronte rose. This reminds me of like a slightly lighter Munstead wood, or Benjamin Bitten looks like this. This kind of reminds me of Wallerton Old Hall, or I'm trying to think, maybe even like Litchfield Angel. And then this, I just loved this color so much, I couldn't help put this in with the roses because it just reminds me of a modern rose. And I can't quite put my finger on which one it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something. It just makes me really happy. Because usually with my roses, I go more towards the apricot peach color palette, but there was something, there are some collections coming up that are going to lean more heavy that way, and I wanted this to be different than that in case people get all of them. Excuse me, I just like air burped. Not used to talking, and when you swallow a lot of air when you're talking, anybody else? No, just me? Okay. But I wanted this to feel like roses, and I think it does. It makes me so happy. I'm very, very proud of this, and so I just love it so much. And I have this beautiful flat lay of everything that I'm going to be posting later this week. I'm just very excited about it. So, and the next round is daffodils, and daffodils are one of my favorite garden flowers. I really love having them in the landscape, and they naturalize so well in Michigan that my yard is like gonna be all daffodils. I'm so excited. So daffodils are next. The illustration is beautiful, and I cannot wait to share that one with you as well. So I think it should be ready for me to share next time I see you. But with that, I think that's everything. Don't forget to check out Baker Creek Seeds and the handmade closet patterns, which will be linked below, for donations to Ukraine. I hope you all are doing well. I hope that you're having an okay weekend given everything, and I will see you in March.